Welcome to Life with the Spectrum. I'm your host, Gina Cavalli, and as we all take part on this journey together, I told you that we would be meeting interesting people moving and shaking, making progressive leads in a world where 1 in 44 children are now diagnosed on the spectrum. I know that this is kind of Atlanta-centric focused for the show, but there are other places that offer the same thing, like the lady that I'm about to speak with, Frances McBrayer, the executive director from Focus. How are you today, Frances?
I'm doing well, Gina. I'm doing well. Thanks so much for having me.
I know that we are here in Atlanta, but there are groups like Focus and the organization you work for across the country. So if somebody's watching that isn't necessarily here in Georgia, you can reach out and find those people with just a click of a button. Hit Google.
That's right.
Frances, tell me a little bit about how the Focus organization got started.
Right. So Focus started in 1983. It was started by two parents who had kiddos that were in the hospital, and they had rare genetic illnesses that didn't really fit into a category, a larger kind of disability category. And so they found each other, they started sharing resources, and then they started thinking there are other people like us out there, and the kind or the type of disability doesn't matter as much as the need for community and the need for support and to kind of talk about it. So they started a support group in we had two founders in one of their homes, turned into a newsletter where they shared experiences, family activities, and then it's just grown from there. So we're almost 40 years old. Next year is our 40th anniversary. And wow. We have just been parent-led ever since the beginning. And that is one of the things.
You go from newsletter now to social media and everything, and
Yep.
the TV. It's just crazy how things have exploded technology-wise, right?
Exactly. Yeah, and just that the need is still the same. The need for those stories and to identify with other people who are living a similar life remains the same. It's just the mechanism for getting the word out is a little bit different.
Frances, answer me this. So with the need of social and a real community and those social support groups, how does Focus actually help with that?
So Focus has in-person and virtual share groups. We do it in the metro Atlanta area. We do it by suburb or area of town where you live. And then we also do a virtual group, and you can live anywhere in Georgia and be a part of that. And that is where face-to-face or computer-to-computer, however it works for you, is a place where people can just get together and talk regularly about the things that are going on with their kiddos. We can celebrate successes because we know that sometimes our kiddos work harder to earn those successes
Amen.
Than maybe typical kids do. And so we can celebrate that together. We can talk about challenges. We can solve problems. You know, somebody's having a certain issue. Oh, my kid did that. Or, hey, I know exactly where you need to go. Here's a resource to try. This doctor worked really well for us. This one didn't. Maybe skip that one. You know, things like that we can just share knowledge and information.
Knowledge is power. That's what I always say.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And in our kids' case, you feel like you have all of this specialized knowledge, and it just means so much to be able to pass that on to somebody else.
I'm speaking with Frances McBrayer, who's the executive director for the Focus organization here in Georgia. And Frances, I know that my son looks forward to a couple of different events that Focus puts on throughout the year. One, we'll talk about camps here coming up, but that's his favorite, Camp Hollywood. And then you also do different things for the families throughout the year. For example, you're having an aquarium day coming up in November, and Six Flags Day. You typically do that in May. What else? Yep. What other things can bring the family together? And the best part is you guys make it affordable.
Well, we really pride ourselves on these family events because we feel like it's places where people can get to know other people. You know, hey, your kid has the same wheelchair that mine does. Or like, hey, your kid, he doesn't eat the same thing my kid doesn't eat. You know, those kinds of things. Like you have these commonalities and you find this place, your child looks like they're about the same age as mine. And you can build those relationships. We do big events and small events. So maybe there's just 1 month it's a event at a park where we have some physical therapy students that are out there and we're just kind of engaging. Families can meet each other, kiddos can have something to do. And sometimes they're big events like the aquarium, and we're probably going to have 600 to 700 people there at the aquarium in November. And that is typically things like that, and Six Flags and the zoo includes a meal, because when you're gathered around food, it's typically a great time to meet other people, to share stories, to just have that space to interact. And then also then to have additional time to spend at Six Flags or at the exhibits. The aquarium's going to open early for us so that our kiddos have some time and some sensory hours that kind of be a little bit lower key maybe than a typical day. Six Flags does ADA passes for everyone, so you don't have to wait in the line if your kiddo doesn't do that as well. We just try to really work with these different venues to make it easy for our kids to have a great time and for the whole family to participate.
And the best part, as I mentioned before, it is affordable. I don't know who gives you that kiss of good favor and good luck, but where can you take your kids to the aquarium, have a meal, less than $100 for everyone, or Six Flags for that matter, and really enjoy the whole day as a family. Now, I know that Focus also does respites for moms and dads, because let's face it, we live in a very busy, active world, not just with, the fact that we have to go to work, but then we're also carting kids to and from, and then the therapies of it all. It can get a little overwhelming. So I love the fact that Focus offers some respite days for date nights for mom and dad.
Yeah. We, because some of our kiddos require really specialized care, we want to make sure that families feel safe. They have a safe place to bring their kiddo while they take a couple hours break. And so that's one of the things that we really pride ourselves on. We have nurses there at Respite. We have toileting attendants, things that just really make life easier and make you feel better as a parent, knowing that your child's needs are going to be taken care of.
And that's the same way at camp, too.
Yes.
I wanted to bring up Camp Hollywood. Camp Hollywood here in Atlanta is north, south, east, and west of the city. I love how you pick certain weeks of the summer and everybody feels that they can go. It's very affordable for families. They also take third-party waivers. You take either
right.
Katie Beckett or through the GCCS here in Georgia. The best part is it is truly my son's favorite camp. They're making their own snacks. They're having music time. They're watching movies. They're playing with one another. He almost always comes home and says that he sees kids from years before, just as he's a return camper. He looks forward to seeing Caesar, one of the long mainstays that works at the Focus organization. And so Camp Hollywood, is there any opportunities to make that kind of multiple weeks in certain areas, or is it, because I know parents really want that?
Oh, absolutely. You are certainly not the first parent to ask. We really pride ourselves on trying to take that to the different areas of Atlanta, because Atlanta is not an easy city to get around in. And so we want to try to make it as convenient as possible to as many people as possible. And we rely on donated space. So a lot of our camps take place in churches and things like that, and we work around their calendars so that we have a week in that donated space close to the homes of some of our campers. And so that's why we are in multiple locations just for that 1 week. But you know what? Who's to say that we couldn't one day kind of make it more than one? Because we know that families we already talked about, it's hard to find specialized care for your child that has a disability. Yes. And so when you find a camp that, number one, meets their needs, and number two, that they like, it's pretty special. So we certainly understand that parents love it, and the feedback that we get from it. I mean, my own child attends. The feedback that we get is really lovely, that they just feel like it's where their kid can be a kid.
And the best part of Focus is, like you said, Frances, it's not diagnosis specific. You could have Down syndrome. You could be on the spectrum. You could have some sort of intellectual disability. You could be in a wheelchair. You could be walking. The best part is it's just families coming together, kids being allowed to be kids and not being judged for what they may look like or what they're sitting in or not sitting in. And I love that about Focus and all of the great volunteers and people working there in your organization. So I'm sitting here talking with Frances McBrayer from the Focus organization. Frances, where do you get your money? Where do you get your funding? And how can we help make more of it?
Well, we are really lucky that we have a pretty loyal base of individual donors. So people that maybe their parents, maybe their aunts or uncles, maybe they're just friends or neighbors of somebody that has taken part in Focus programs, and they want to continue to give in honor or sometimes in memory of that child. We also have some private foundations. We are completely privately funded, so we don't get any government funding at all. So we have some private foundations that we reach out to and that we write. We are always writing grants here at Focus, asking for this or that, one thing or another, and always trying to say thank you. Say thank you, to follow up. Hey, this is what your money did. This is the impact that it had. I wrote one of those reports this morning. Hey, the $15,000 that your foundation provided us provided help for a child to get a wheelchair accessible van and helped our teen and young adult overnight camp, summer camp program. So,
which I hear is phenomenal.
It is. That talent show is the best.
I can't wait till Lyric turns 12 years old so he can come.
That talent show is better than anything you've ever seen. It's just beautiful to watch kids be so self-confident and to display their talents for each other and just to have that reception of acceptance. I mean, it's one of my most favorite nights of the year.
Now, as far as galas and other events we live in a metropolis. Atlanta is one of the biggest cities in the country right now, and it continues to grow. And we have major football teams here. We have movie studios here. We need celebrities, and I know that there are celebrities out there that have children with disabilities or challenges that may or may not even know about Focus and where they can put their money into a great partnership and a great organization that really gives back. So how can people get in touch with Focus?
If you are out there and you're a celebrity just looking for a great cause, there is nothing not to like about Focus. Our kids are wonderful. Our programs are awesome. Our website is focus-ga.org. And there you can donate. You can also find out about events. I'm so glad you mentioned the gala because that's our biggest fundraiser of the year. It's a dinner, a dance, and auction. It's going to be March 4th, 2023 this year in Atlanta. It's at the ballroom of the Greek Orthodox Church on Claremont Road. And that is a great place to come and just kind of be introduced to Focus programs, to have a nice dinner, a fun time, and really be able to kind of see the impact that the organization has on the families that we serve. When
do tickets go on sale for that?
We are going to start taking sponsorships at the end of this month. So this is perfect timing.
Okay, this is great. Timing is everything.
Yep.
So would people go to the focus-ga website to get sponsorships, tickets, and all of that?
Yes, focus-ga.org. And then go to the events section. There's a place right there for the gala. So we'll have information there. And truly, if someone's interested in volunteering, we're always looking for volunteers for our camps and for different events. You want to try it out. You want to see how it's going. We have several things coming up, like our holiday party where we'll have Santa there to take pictures, who kind of understands kids with disabilities and gives them a little bit extra time, a little bit of sensory kind of space. And so if somebody wants to volunteer there and just kind of get their feet wet, it's like, what kinds of families do we have, that kind of thing. We're always looking for folks, and we have that application on our website as well.
I love with the volunteers that I see come to Camp Hollywood and some of the other events, a lot of them are teenagers. And I always put the call out to teenagers and parents of neurotypical teenagers. It takes a lot more to get into college than just a good grade. It takes community service. And why not put your money where your mouth is in your community service behind something like this? Because what I have talked to these kids about afterwards is that a lot of them thought that they were going to go and do something like this for a career. And then they sat back after volunteering for a week and their call came differently. And they said, you know what, I think maybe I want to go into therapy, or I want to be a physical therapist, or OT, or speech and language, or ABA. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they got that from 1 week spending time with our kiddos and our young adults that are, for whatever reason, they're enjoying their time with Focus and some of the different events that you plan. So I love that teenagers, young adults going into college, out of college, and some of them can actually use the hours that college needs to apply towards their degree.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We are happy to fill out volunteer verifications and things like that. I have written several recommendation letters for kiddos that are applying to college. And, it's funny, Gina, is that a lot of our volunteers, especially the ones in high school, they come 1 year, they come 1 week, and then the next year they're back.
Yep.
And the year after that, I came 2 weeks last summer, but I'm going to be there all 6 weeks this summer. And that they get hooked because it really is a wonderful place, not just for our kids, but for the staff and for the volunteers that are there too.
Frances McBrayer, the executive director for Focus here in Georgia. Frances, where does Focus go from here? I know that there's always room to expand, and I had asked you kind of off the record if Focus plans to move into other states, because if there is a state that doesn't have an organization quite like this one and how great it is serving our community here, how can people get one started in San Francisco, in Dallas, in Colorado Springs? How can people reach out? Because maybe, I think, taking, I'm sure the wonderful people there, yourself included, wouldn't mind teaching them the ropes to get something like this started right where they live.
I think that is exactly, what you just described is kind of the exact place to start. We see a need, or my kiddo has a need, or my friend and I have 2 kiddos and we're willing to kind of put the effort in. And then it's about the relationships. Do you know someone who can help you navigate that 501c3 process? If not, there are plenty of organizations like, Centers for Nonprofits and things like that can help provide some of that guidance. I was thinking about this question, Gina, you and I talked a little bit, and there is a parent-to-parent network in every state. So parent-to-parent is a great place to start. So the parent-to-parent organization in Georgia is right across the parking lot from us. We're not the same organization. Yeah, but we work together really well, and they refer folks to us and us to them. And so they do have some government funding to provide specifically information on like education and early intervention. And so that might be a great place to start. Number 1, to meet other folks. And number 2, to be able to kind of say what is out there, right? Maybe we don't have to start our own organization. Maybe there's already one out there in my state, and I just don't know where to look, or I don't know that it exists, or like somewhere like Texas, maybe they have it in San Antonio, but they're not in Austin. I could be a branch or something like that. So I think that's a great place to start.
That's kind of what happened to me here. When we moved to Georgia, Lyric was 5. We were knee deep in therapies and having to go this, that place, the other, and then also trying to find a little bit of extra spending money because those therapies are expensive and you get capped out with your insurance. And so I found organizations like the GCCS here. I found Focus. I hit Google. I didn't have any because I didn't really know anybody else in our family's particular situation. So I started hitting Google, and then I started coming to the events, and Lyric started coming to the events. And let me tell you, we continue to support, and we'll always support Focus because we really believe in what you guys are doing, and we're happy to be part of that family. We're so grateful that you guys are doing it for us Atlanta residents, north, south, east, and west of the city itself.
And, our family is the same way. My daughter's 8, she has cerebral palsy, and we have been a part of Focus since she was 1. I've worked here just for 2 years. And, our doctor told us about Focus, they said, hey, you should really call them. And we did it. Our family did it because we felt like we wanted that support. It was time. We got the therapies going, and still we felt like maybe we need more support. Okay, she's got kind of the things, a schedule going, but we want more than that. We want that community. We want to feel like we're not in this by ourselves. And that's exactly what Focus is.
Yeah, it's such a great organization. Frances McBrayer, the executive director for Focus here. Frances, are you on socials? Is Focus on socials now?
Yes, we are at Focus Kids GA on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. So that is the best place to find us. You'll find adorable birthday pictures of all of our kiddos whose parents send in photos for their birthday. We like to celebrate all of our kids that we can. And then you'll also find information about our programs. We have lots of workshops coming up this fall, October and November, about a variety of topics. And one of the great things about Focus is that you can plug in where it fits best for your family. So if you're looking for resources and education, you got that. If you're looking for like a support group, we've got that. If you just want summer camp for your kid, we have that too.
That's what I say about this show. I say you can kind of plug in and pick an episode because it's always different.
Exactly. And everybody has different needs. We have an adapted swim team. We have a program specifically for teens and young adults. And so I think just kind of knowing what's out there and plugging in where it best fits your family at that particular moment, because people's needs change as well.
That's true. Frances McBrayer, Executive Director for Focus here in Georgia. Frances, one more time, the website people can go to reach out, not just for everything, camps, teen and young adult programs, the gala coming up in March. Where can they go?
Focus-ga.org. And we're at Focus Kids GA on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
I have to tell you, go over and give them a like, my friends, because these guys are my friends, and they've been so good and welcoming to my family and to Lyric, and he loves going to their summer camps. He loves taking part of the zoo days and the aquarium days and the Six Flags days, and then we like to take part of the Respite days. So again, Frances McBrayer, thank you, and thank everyone at the Focus organization for the great work that you guys continue to do.
Absolutely, Gina. It was a thrill to be on with you today, and thanks to everyone for watching. We just thank you for doing this show. It's a great resource for lots and lots of families.
Well, thank you. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I want to say thank you for hopping on board. Just like Frances said, you can pop into Focus and find something that is relevant to where you are in your journey. And that's the same way with the show. Pop into any one of the shows on YouTube. You might find something that, is like, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that, or I need to find that resource. And that's what this show is all about. So until next time, we live life with the spectrum. See ya.